And then is it true you were or you had a sort of close call with Dale Earnhardt's 1982 Pocono crash?
I did. I did. I was working turn one. And again, for those who don't know how NASCAR on radio works, you have a myriad of broadcasters, two guys in the booth. You have somebody in turn one and two, somebody in three and four, or whatever the configuration of the track is. There were three or four people on pit road, and we would just throw the broadcast around from one to the next to the next. And yeah, I was in Pocono, which is a triangular racetrack. So I was working turn one and coming down the long main straightaway heading to turn one, which, due to the lack of a better description, it was a high speed hairpin, due to the lack of a better term. And Dale Earnhardt and Tim Richmond tangled on the main straightaway, and Dale's car got out of control and it flipped a couple of times and it hit the scaffold upon which I was standing. And there was sheet metal flying everywhere. And I didn't know what was going to happen. So I said, well, if I'm going to die here, I'm going to go down talking. So I just kept talking, and I'm dodging sheet metal and so on. Long story short, obviously I survived, and Dale did at that point. And but yeah, that was very, very scary. I then went out behind the turn position where I was standing was nothing but woods. And I went out there and I got the piece of sheet metal from Dale's car, and I was flying back to Alabama with Bobby Allison that day. He had an extra seat in his airplane, and so I flew back with him, and I brought that piece of sheet metal back to Birmingham with me, and it is still in my office to this very day. It is still sitting on top of a credenza in my office. But yeah, that was very. And then every time after that, Dale would come by on the pace lap. That's when you start the race and you're going very slowly.
Yeah.
He'd come by and he'd kind of tuck his head down under the roll cage bar, and he'd wave up to me as if to say, "All right, I'll stay out of your booth. You stay out of my car." And but yes, that was a very, very close call.
And then where were you stationed at Daytona in 2001 for Dale's fatal crash?
That that was me talking. That was me talking when he was killed in the accident. I was out there, and it turns three and four, and I was. That was when you listen to that Motor Racing Network audio cut. That's my voice you hear.
What did you think when you saw the crash? Like at what point did you realize it might be serious? Because it initially
I didn't
didn't look.
realize it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I didn't realize it at all. Then, after the white checkered flag, after the cool down lap, which is when after you take the checker, you get off the gas and you let the car slow itself down as you coast another 2.5 miles around. Uh, During that slowdown lap, Kenny Schrader stopped his car, got out, ran over to Dale Earnhardt's car, and began frantically waving for the medical crew to get over there as quickly as was humanly possible. And I said, well, that's odd. That's not a normal reaction. So I had a feeling something was amiss, but I didn't imagine that he had lost his life. But
Yeah.
obviously, a few hours later, we found out that that was the case. Very, very sad day, a terrible day.